is the mix and chop. And I've had it for several years, and let me tell you, it is one of my favorites. So one of the things that I have a love-hate relationship with is garlic. Every time you've tried peeling it, it always comes out, your fingers always come out really sticky. So one of the things that I love is the Pampered Chef little garlic peeler. So all you do is insert the garlic in there, and if you roll this around, depending on the shape, you'll notice that the peeling comes off real easy, and you don't have to mess with it. Comes out real easy. I don't know if y'all can see that. And what I'm making today, because the weather here in Houston is a little bit chilly, I'm going on the Pampered Chef website. I am making the white bean, kale, and sausage, and you'll notice that one came out perfectly clean also. I love garlic. And what I usually do sometimes is I'll go buy about 15 bunches of garlic, and then I will peel them manually by hand, end up with sticky fingers, and I will then drizzle a little bit of EVO on them and throw them in the oven and roast them and get roasted garlic. And rather than doing it a little bit at a time, I just bake a whole sheet, throw them in a Tupperware container, and as I need them for my recipes, I just pull out a few, toss them into my recipes, and I've got roasted garlic. And I usually do those for about 425 on a baking sheet in the oven for about 15 minutes. And right now I'm using the mix and chop to chop up my Italian sausage. And what I've done is, the recipe calls for hot Italian sausage, and depending on the age of your kids, if you're feeding any kids, I have taken a half of hot and a half of sweet and just kind of mixed it up. Some of these garlics are kind of hard to do, so I'm just going to roll these by hand. And if you ever need a quick tip or a quick gift to give to somebody for Christmas, this is the perfect Christmas stocking stuffer. In case your pot is hot, these are so nifty. These are the little pot grabbers, and we're just gonna go drain it. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to finely dice up some onions.
Now, you can use the food chopper for this portion. Now you do, and you can even use it straight on your cutting boards. But I have a little OCD, so I like to have equally diced up onions. Of course, you can also take your fingers too.
So I've added in about a medium-sized onion. And right now I have my stove still off. Gonna add in a couple carrots. And this would probably be good for the food chopper if you got it, but take out some aggression by dicing up a couple carrots.
instructions on the recipes. But I'll include the link down below for anybody that wants the actual recipe for this. And I will also include links to all of the Pampered Chef materials and products. Also.
I'm gonna turn that back on. Gonna add a little bit more oil. Also, we've got some cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. So one of the things that I know can get a little tedious when you are slicing cherry tomatoes is having to individually slice each one. So what this is the Pampered Chef Close and Seal, and I'm going to show you real quickly how we use this. We're going to take a couple cherry tomatoes, lay these out. We're going to gently close this, and we're going to take our knife and just go right across the top, and we've got sliced cherry tomatoes. Gonna put some more on here. Get a little too much. And you don't want to press down. We're just holding the tomatoes so they don't roll anywhere. And go right across, and we've got sliced tomatoes again. Gonna put a few more. This is also great for slicing green grapes. If you've got any toddlers or babies that you don't want to choke on the cherries or on the grapes. I'm gonna put that in the sink. Gonna stir this up a little bit. So all I have in here so far is some onions that have been browning up a little bit because the rock crot was still a little warm, which is perfect because we didn't want to overcook the onions. I've added in some chopped carrots, and you could probably do the julienne carrots in a bag that's already done. Added in some sliced cherry tomatoes. So one of my favorite tools is the garlic masher. And you'll notice that the garlic comes out all squished. Now this is not the Pampered Chef one, but Pampered Chef does make a perfect one, and as you can see, the skin, part of the skin is still in there. But Pampered Chef does make a excellent garlic press, and I love it. So definitely highly recommend getting it. And it would basically work the same way. So you can see all the garlic comes out. I'm just starting out and I haven't accumulated enough of the products here. So my philosophy is use what you got until you need to replace it with Pampered Chef. Now this recipe only calls for 2 cloves of garlic, but I am obsessed with garlic, so I use a lot. And then one of the things that I love about this rock crock is you'll notice that nothing is sticking to the bottom and it is completely smooth. So when I'm ready to do the dishes, all I gotta do is little soap and water and it comes out real good and clean. Gonna add some oregano, and I love oregano, so recipe calls for about 1 teaspoon. Add a little bit more. And some salt. While that's cooking down, I'm gonna add the glass lid. And we're gonna cook that for about 4 to 6 minutes. And then we're going to add some kale. So been letting that simmer for about 5 minutes. And the next thing I want to do is, now that all that is simmered down, is add in some kale. So you could use we actually have a veggie trimmer. I like big chunks of kale, so I'm just gonna slowly start going through this and picking through and adding some kale to it. Now, kale does have a little bit of a bitter taste to it. But the seasonings of oregano, and I got a little bit of salt added in here already. Just a little bit more. Taking out a couple of the chunks. And then we've got some low sodium chicken broth. And we're just going to use an entire carton. I think that's got enough for me. Next, we're going to add 1 can of cannellini beans. Now, you could leave it just like this, and you could have a vegetarian soup. But, me, I like a little meat in my soup every now and then. Alexa, set a timer for 13 minutes. And then we're going to take and we're going to add our Italian meat sausage back to the pot. Now the kale needs to cook down and the carrots need to soften still. So I'm going to stir this all up. And I just tossed in some sweet butter croissants into the oven to serve on the side. We're gonna let this cook down for about 10 minutes. And then we're gonna turn the heat down, let it kind of a low simmer, and we'll have it soon. So it's been in here for about 10 minutes. And as you can see, this looks really, really good. And I also made some fresh butter croissants on the side. So one of the ways that I like this is fresh grated Parmesan. And I like a lot. So